Dear colleagues, a reminder to all of you na kung di nyo kasundo si Alan, malamang kasundo nyo ako. So, if sarado ang pag-iisip nyo na si Alan nagpaliwanag, ako naman ang magpapaliwanag. Pagbigyan nyo naman ako. Ulitin ko yung tanong, kasi yun ang tanong natin today. Is it necessary to say in the Constitution that the Senate President will preside during all other times? Hindi po applicable yon, with all due respect to our former Senate President.
Ang pag-upo natin bilang isang impeachment court para litisin at husgahan ang pangalawang Pangulo. Hindi po tayo nandito upang itaguyod ang anumang pampolitikal na adyenda. Hindi tayo narito upang paglingkuran ang kagustuhan ng alinmang panig. Tayo ay mga senador bago tayo umupo bilang mga hukom. At mananatili tayong mga senador.
Mr. President.
What is the pleasure of Senator Judge Cayetano?
Mr. President, I'm explaining my vote.
The lady has 2 minutes.
Thank you. Dear colleagues, my explanation includes a reminder to all of you na kung di nyo kasundo si Alan, malamang kasundo nyo ako. So, if sarado ang pag-iisip nyo na si Alan nagpaliwanag, ako naman ang magpapaliwanag. Pagbigyan nyo naman ako. But what I'm saying is not new from what Senator Alan Cayetano expressed. And I have here copies of the constitutional verbatim debate on this provision. And as Senator Alan read, sinabi ni Mr. Monsod, is it not understood that when the President of the Philippines is on trial, it is the only time when the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court will preside? Is it necessary to say that the Senate President will preside during all other times? Ulitin ko yung tanong, kasi yun ang tanong natin today. Is it necessary to say in the Constitution that the Senate President will preside during all other times? Ang sagot ni Mr. Davide, Mr. Presiding Officer, I precisely presented that because we have a distinction when it comes to the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. But with that clarification, that in all other cases, it would be the President of the Senate who will preside, I withdraw the amendment. Kaya clear sa Constitution that in all other cases, the President of the Senate will decide. Wala, hindi ho applicable dito yung excluso unos. Hindi ko na-memorize yan kasi I graduated in 1991 and we took that up in 1987, but the phrase is, pag hindi kasama, excluded. Hindi po applicable yon, with all due respect to our former Senate President. It is the intention of the framers that matter. I will ask the page to help me distribute this among our colleagues. I have also asked our staff to actually copy. I am environmentally friendly, so ayoko sana ng papel. Pero alam ko na hindi po lahat sa atin gumagamit ng digital, ng electronic gadgets, kaya pinapel ko na lang. Pero kailangan ko pakita sa inyo yung mismong nasa journal, yan din yon. Yan din yon, my dear colleagues. Yun lang hiling ko sa inyo. Intindihan naman natin yung nandito. Bumoto na. Pero intindihan naman natin kasi this is just the first day. We cannot disregard the Constitution, and I continue, Mr. President. We have enough jurisprudence, more than enough, to explain to us, even in layman's term, what basic legal principles are. And one of the most fundamental principles of constitutional construction states that we give effect to the intents of the framers of the Constitution. With this vote, did we give effect to the intentions of the framers of the Constitution? Sinabi nga Senate President ang magpe-preside. Hindi na siguro napakalaking bagay yon dahil kahit sinong ipalit nyo, maayos naman ang mga kasama natin sa colleagues, sa colleagues natin maayos naman. Di ho yun ang point. The point is, what are we required to follow? That's why may Constitution. And I will now state, for the record, a few cases that point out that this is what we are supposed to do. Give effect to the Constitution. Lambino versus Commission on Election in GR number 174153, the Supreme Court. looked explicitly to the Constitutional Commission deliberation to determine the nature of people's initiative. Because the text was debated, the court used the framers' explicit intention. I repeat, the court used the framers' explicit intention revealed in the plenary debates to prevent deceptive or misleading petition processes and establish a stringent full text requirement. So anong ginawa sa kaso? Tiningnan ang intent ng framers of the Constitution. Another case, Calderon versus Carale, GR number 9163. God bless his soul. Si Dean Carale was my dean. And Senator Imis as well. Senator Kikos as well. He was with my father in the University of Michigan. So pagbigyan niyo na ako a moment of remembering him. In GR number 91636, the court resolved a dispute regarding the president's power to make appointments without confirmation by the commission appointment. The court examined the historical and textual context of Article 7, Section 16 of the 1987 Constitution, noting that the clear and express intent of its framers was to exclude presidential appointments from confirmation except for those expressly mentioned. So, balik ko sa kasong to. What was the clear intention? That the Senate President presides. That is the clear intention. Dear colleagues, umpisa pa lang. I beg all of you, makinig naman tayo. Masumunod naman tayo kung ano yung sinasabing trabaho natin. The Constitution, the intention of the framers, and then the clear construct. O, another case. Gold Creek Mining Corporation versus Rodriguez. This is a very old case. So yung mga binanggit sa inyo, bago-bago pa yun dahil si Dean Carale, buhay pa naman as of the pandemic. So 2000 plus. Ito, 66 Philippines, 259. So for lawyers and law students, pag sinabing Philippines, pag yan yung ni-record, alam mo ng 50s, 1940s, something like that. Justice Jose Abad Santos articulated the definitive rule. The fundamental principle of construction is to give effect to the intent of the framers of the organic law and of the people adopting it. Dear colleagues, I can stand here and read more cases to all of us. We have law students. We have freshman law students, we have fresh graduate, we have bar reviewees listening to us. Tapos tayo pa lang, hindi natin mabigyan pahalaga ang very clear legal principles. Pati yung prosecution and defense nakikinig. Sana po, wag niyong abalahin yung oras namin. Bigyan niyo naman kami ng maliwanag na mga arguments ninyo because we are willing to listen. Pero colleagues, patunayan naman natin that we are willing to listen. Hindi yung pagpasok natin, nag-prejudge na tayo. Kasi sad to say, mukhang ganon. I tell you, there will be times I probably will not vote with the minority because I believe tama yung sinasabi ng majority. Sana po, yun ang pakita natin sa taong bayan. So, hindi ko naabalahin yung time dahil kakaupo pa lang ng bagong presiding officer pero ang dami pang kaso that says, look at the intent of the framers of the Constitution. And today, we disregarded the intent of the framers of the Constitution. Magandang hapon po, gaya ng pag-uumpisa ng hearing na ito.
We know the remarks of Senator P in connection with their explanation of vote. What is the pleasure of Senator Judge Soto?
I'd like to explain my vote also, Mr.
The
President.
gentleman may proceed and he has 2 minutes.
I have
Kindly be
one line.
mindful of the timer.
I have one line to say. That's the reason I voted in favor. Because the minutes of the Constitutional Commission are merely research source.
What is the pleasure of the Honorable Padilla? Will the gentleman explain his vote?
Opo.
The gentleman may proceed. You have 2 minutes, sir.
Maraming salamat po, Ginoong Punong Tagapamahala. Mga mahal kong kasama, sa loob po ng 4 na taon na ako po ay ibinoto ng ating mga kababayan at nagsilbing senador, ako po ay naging tagapangulo ng komite ng Constitutional Amendments. At tuwing meron pong pagdinig, ang lagi po naming pinapatawag ay yung mga sumulat ng konstitusyon bilang Sila po ang nakakaalam kung ano ang puso, ang diwa ng konstitusyon. Malinaw po na kung meron tayong pakikinggan, yung creator. Hindi po ba? Tayo naman po lahat ay naniniwala sa Panginoong Diyos, kaya tayo po ay naniniwala sa salitang creator, tagapaglikha. At ang lumikha po ng konstitusyon ay itong mga taong nabanggit sa ipinamahagi ng ating mahal na Senadora Cayetano. Malinaw po dito. Nasabi na po sa English ito. Mainam po ay sabihin po natin sa Tagalog upang mas maintindihan po ng ating mga kababayan. Humingi po ako ng tulong sa Google kasi legal terms po ito. Hindi naman po ako nagtapos sa UP, hindi rin po ako nagtapos sa Ateneo, nagtapos po ako ng criminology at UP rin sa University of Prison. Ang sabi po dito, sa Tagalog po Ginoong Presiding Officer, eksakto ko itong hinihain dahil nagkaroon tayo ng pagkakaiba pagdating sa punong maestrado ng Korte Suprema. Ngunit sa paglilinaw na iyon, na sa lahat ng ibang mga kaso ay ang Pangulo ng Senado ang mamumuno. Kaya binabawi ko ang nasabing susug. Ang nagsabi po nito ay ang dating Justice Davide. Ngayon, mga mahal kong kasama, at sa ating po mga taga-subaybay, ang batas po ay precise. Hindi po ito pwedeng iba-ibahin o baluktutin. Kung ano ang sinabi lalo ng saligang batas, ay sana po ay panghawakan natin. Ngayon, sa loob po ng 4 na taong ko dito, lagi pong sinasabi yung tradisyon. Minsan, yung rules na yan, nawawala yan Ilang beses na ho ako naguluhan dito dahil, teka, sundin natin yung tradisyon kaysa yung rules. 2 beses na po nagkaroon ng impeachment. Yung unang impeachment, ang nag-preside ay yung Chief Justice, yung kay Pangulong Estrada. Yung sumunod po, andito na po ako nun. Ang nag-preside ay ang mahal na Bicolanong kaibigan ko, Senador Chis Escudero. Yun po kasi yung nasasabi sa saligang batas at tradisyon. Yun na po yung nangyari. Ngayon, gusto ko pong tanungin yung mga kasama ko sa majority. Personal na tanong po ito. Nung hinihikayat po akong sumama sa majority, isa lang ang sinabi ko. Kung si Senator Chis Escudero, ang kababayan kong Bicolano, ang gagawin yung Senate President, lilipat ako sa inyo. Ang hindi ko maintindihan, bakit ngayon pinipilit natin na ang ating presiding officer si Chis Escudero? Ba't hindi natin siya ginawang Senate President nun? Yun lang po ang tanong ko. Maraming salamat.
The remarks of the gentleman is noted. Senator Marcos, what is your pleasure, ma'am? The lady may do so. You have 2 minutes, ma'am. Kindly be mindful of the clock.
Yes, thank you very much. Ang sabi sa atin ng bata tayo, kapag mali ang umpisa, mali na ang lahat na susunod. Ayoko naman magkamali sa umpisa pa lamang na napakahalagang paglilitis na ito. Unang-una, paulit-ulit na nating sinaad na ang ating saligang batas ay hindi maaring baluktutin. At napakaklaro nito. At ang sinasabi ng ating Constitution of 1987, Article 11, Section 3, Number 6, all other impeachable officers ang sinasabi, carving out therefore the exception that proves that rule, that the Chief Justice is the single exception, and otherwise, the presiding officer should be the Senate President. It is the exception that proves the rule. Palibasa na uso ang Latin, may kabaliktaran din sa kinote ni Senator Soto, expressio unius es exclusio alterius. Palibhasa, hindi naman in-exempt, ibig sabihin na laging dapat ang Senate President ang presiding officer. Ikalawa, nakita naman natin ang mga debate, ang listahan ng mga sinabi at paliwanag nung dating Chief Justice natin, si Mr. Davide, nung panahon, nung convention. Contextual reading and the thorough debate do not allow for any interpretation whatsoever. And we should abide by that. Ikatlo, yung kaduda-dudang quorum nung June 3 na pinapaliwanag ng aming minority leader na hanggang ngayon nakatenga pa rin. Kung tutuusin, nung sinasabing na amyenda, yung Supreme Court petition ay pending pa. Kaya hindi karapat-dapat na yon ang sundan. Ikalima, it's not the impeachment court but the Senate that amended the rules. Kaya para sa akin, napakaraming dahilan. Huwag sana nating sayangin itong napakahalagang responsibilidad natin at huwag mag-umpisa sa mali itong paglilitis. Maraming salamat.
Thank you, Senator Marcos. Duly noted and entered into the records. The pleasure of Senator Legarda. Senator Judge Legarda, rather.
Thank you, Mr. Presiding Officer. Where the Constitution is
The lady
silent,
will explain her vote or make a manifestation.
it's a manifestation. Which,
The lady may proceed with
which
her
seems like an
manifestation. She has 2
explanation of
minutes.
vote. Thank you. Where the Constitution is silent, the intent of the framers should guide the choice of the presiding officer. Any departure from the traditional arrangement must be approached with caution, as it may place the validity and the legitimacy of the entire impeachment in doubt. Mr. Presiding Officer, I also respectfully place on record that there is a pending challenge before the Supreme Court involving the June 3rd Senate proceedings, including the authority of the body then that adopted Senate Resolution number 430. This manifestation is made to place on record that we are not yielding our position in the pending case and is without prejudice to the final determination of the Supreme Court. Thank you, Mr. Presiding Officer.
Thank you, Senator Legarda. The presiding officer would like to make a statement.
Sa mga ginagalaan kong kapwa Senator Judge, sa ating mga minamahal na kababayan, sa mga partido sa kaso na kabinbin ngayon sa Senado, isa pong maganda at pinagpalang hapon sa ating lahat. Sa araw na ito, muling gagampanan ng Senado ang isa sa mga pinakasagradong tungkuling iniatas ng saligang batas. Ang pag-upo natin bilang isang impeachment court para litisin at husgahan ang pangalawang Pangulo. Kinikilala ng ating saligang batas na may mga opisyal na may hawak ng kapangyarihan at pananagutan na napakabigat para sa kanila lamang itinakda ang impeachment bilang tanging paraan para sila ay panagutin. Article 11, Section 2 of the Constitution enumerates these officials: the President, the Vice President, the members of the Supreme Court, members of the Constitutional Commissions, and the Ombudsman. They are not ordinary public officers. According to the late former Senate President Juan Ponce Enrile, they hold, quote, the highest and most sensitive offices of government. They may be removed from office only upon conviction for offenses of the highest constitutional gravity: culpable violation of the Constitution, treason, bribery, graft and corruption, other high crimes, or betrayal of the public trust. Impeachment is a means to preserve constitutional government through the removal and disqualification, if so warranted, of an unfit official from a position of public trust. 5 opisyal pa lamang ang na-impeach ng Kamara de Representantes sa ating kasaysayan sa ilalim ng 1987 Constitution. Una, si dating Pangulong Joseph Estrada noong 2001 na ang paglilitis ay naungusan ng mga pangyayaring humantong sa EDSA 2. Ikalawa, si Ombudsman Mercy Gutierrez noong 2011 na nagbitiw bago pa man mabuksan ang kanyang paglilitis ng Senado. Ikatlo, si Chief Justice Renato Corona noong 2011 din na nilitis na patunayang nagkasala at inalis sa tungkulin ng impeachment court bilang punong mahistrado. Ikaapat, si dating COMELEC Chairman Andres Bautista noong 2017 bagamat nagbitiw siya sa pwesto bago pa man mapadala ang articles of impeachment sa Senado. At ikalima, si Vice President Sara Duterte noong 2025. Subalit ang nasabing articles of impeachment ay idineklara ng Korte Supremang null and void ab initio kung kaya't ito ay inarchive ng Senado. Siya ay muling na-impeach sa kasalukuyang taon at ngayon nahaharap sa paglilitis na ito. Ipinakikita lamang na maikling tala nito na ang impeachment ay hindi isang pangkaraniwang kaganapan. Turing nga ng Korte Suprema, quote, "It is the most difficult and cumbersome mode of removing a public officer from office." Subalit, ang paglilitis na ito hindi lamang hindi pangkaraniwan, ito ay tunay na bukod tangi. Bakit? Una, si Vice Presidente Sara Duterte ang kauna-unahang opisyal na 2 beses na na-impeach ng mababang kapulungan. Pangalawa, siya ang kauna-unahang Vice Presidente na haharap sa paglilitis ng isang impeachment court at pangalawang opisyal lamang na halal ng sambayanan na sasailalim sa prosesong ito. Pangatlo, siya ay hinahalal ng may pinakamalaking mandatong pinagkaloob ng sambayanang Pilipino sa sinumang kandidato sa ating kasaysayan. Mahigit 32 milyon o 61% ng kabuuang boto para sa ikalawang Pangulo. Pang-apat, ang articles of impeachment laban sa kanya ay inendorso ng 277 na miyembro na kumakatawan sa ating mga mamamayan mula sa iba't ibang distrito at sektor at ng ating bansa. Nakatumbas ay mahigit 80% ng kabuuan ng Kamara de Representantes. Terminating an elected mandate before the end of its term is among the most drastic acts our constitutional democracy can undertake. This is why the trial must be guided with prudence, tempered by caution, and marked with unquestionable impartiality. We must avoid even the appearance of impropriety and observe the cold neutrality of an impartial judge at all times. May I therefore caution my fellow senator judges, the prosecutors, the respondent, and their respective counsels and witnesses to refrain from making any comments and disclosures to the public pertaining to the merits of this trial as mandated by the impeachment rules itself. Let us heed the words of the Supreme Court that said, "Impeachment is not a chance to settle political scores. It is not a stage for political theater or personal attacks. Because when the focus shifts to the person rather than the alleged wrongdoing, the process loses its integrity." As presiding officer, I shall do my part to uphold the fairness and integrity of this process and shall see it through to its proper conclusion. At this point, I would like to thank my colleagues for their trust and confidence. I did not seek nor did I ask for this responsibility, but neither will I shirk from fulfilling this duty without fear or favor. This now brings me to the threshold questions that will guide the conduct of this trial and the rulings of the chair. First, what is the number of votes needed to convict the respondent? Second, what is the quantum of proof required to sustain a judgment of conviction or acquittal in these proceedings? Third, how strictly or liberally will this court apply the rules in resolving questions of procedure and evidence? On the first issue, the Constitution provides that no person shall be convicted without the concurrence of 2/3 of all the members of the Senate. With 24 members of the Senate, a literal interpretation of this means that conviction requires the affirmative vote of at least 16 senator judges. This literal interpretation finds direct support in the 2000 case of Bayan versus Zamora, which concerned the Senate's compliance with the two-thirds vote required to concur in a treaty. Despite having only 23 incumbent senators at that time, then Senator Gloria Macapagal Arroyo was elected as vice president. Therefore, there were only 23 senators. The court held the charter provides that the Senate shall be composed of 24 senators. On the question of quantum of proof, given that impeachment is a sui generis constitutional proceedings, the standards of proof that govern administrative, civil, and criminal proceedings do not apply. However, this does not mean that senator judges shall rely solely on their conscience in deciding this case. No less than the Supreme Court also said that, quote, decisions regarding whether to acquit or convict must be based upon clear charges supported by sufficiently clear and convincing evidence. Furthermore, let me be clear that the burden of proof in these proceedings rests upon the prosecution. It does not and will not shift. The respondent is afforded the presumption of innocence and has no obligation to disprove the charges against her. We are also guided by the Supreme Court's bench book for trial judges, which reflects a long-standing principle of adjudication. It is a better policy to rule in favor of admission and let the senator judges decide whether to give it little or no weight when deciding upon the case in the final outcome. But let me be clear. A liberal construction of the rules is not a license to ambush the opposing party, bypass due process, or introduce unverified evidence that would prejudice the fair and orderly conduct of this trial. Accordingly, consistent with the demands of due process, fair play, and the orderly administration of justice, the chair will construe the rules liberally so that, number one, the prosecutors may be able to adequately present their case, that the respondent may be able to rigorously test it. Number three, that the senator judges may be able to weigh the evidence for themselves. And fourth, so that the Filipino people may hear the whole and impartial truth regarding the allegations against the Vice President. Let us remember what our oath requires us, to do impartial justice according to the Constitution and the laws. Hindi po tayo nandito upang itaguyod ang anumang pampolitikal na adyenda. Hindi tayo narito upang paglingkuran ang kagustuhan ng alinmang panig. Narito tayo upang alamin ang katotohanan at sa pamamagitan nito, mapairal ang hustisyang walang kinikilingan. Ang tungkulin natin bilang mga hukom ay hindi maaaring talikuran. Sa gitna nito, batid ko ang mga problemang kinakaharap ng ating bayan na patuloy natin dapat pa ring pagtuunan ng buong pansin at hanapan ng solusyon. Tayo ay mga senador bago tayo umupo bilang mga hukom at mananatili tayong mga senador na patuloy na magsusumikap na tugunan ang mga pangailangan ng ating mga kababayan bilang Senado at hindi mababago ito. Kaya't aking hiling at dalangin na huwag sana malunod ang diwa ng pagkakaisang nagbigay sa atin gaano mang katindi ang mga debate at pagtatalo sa hukumang ito. Dahil anuman ang magiging kalabasan ng paglilitis na ito, laging kinakailangan ang Senadong nagkakaisa. Dalangin ko po na sana pagkalubad tayo ng katatagan, karunungan, pagpapakumbaba at pag-unawa upang magampanan nating lahat ang ating tungkulin bilang mga hukom. Pagpalain na po lahat sana tayo ng poong may kapal. Maraming salamat at magandang hapon po.